All right, the buzzer is sounded and all things are well in Warriors world. Steph Curry would have had a triple-double, but he didn't have to play the entire fourth quarter because this one was a beatdown. Storyline of the game. Subs, threes, Buddy Hield, and a whole lot of picking up right where the Warriors left off in preseason. That's another W. We're here to talk about it on Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That is too easy, my friends. Welcome into Locked On Warriors. This is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Now is also a good time to tell you about our newsletter. Your favorite podcast does indeed have a newsletter introducing the Locked On Warriors Daily Newsletter, a one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage. It's delivered right to your inbox. It's free. Sign up right now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Warriors newsletter. And it'll be talking about a win tomorrow, a big-time win, 139-104. This one was close early in the first quarter, tied up at 21. And once the Warriors took the lead, they were all gas, no brakes. Co-host tonight is Matt, 95.7 The Game. Currently, you can hear him on KNBR. I worked with Kolsky as well at 95.7 The Game. That's the flagship of the Golden State Warriors in the Bay Area. Also covered the team on their championship run, 21-22 for CBS News Bay Area. Storyline of the game, man. Threes and subs. It could not have started any worse for Golden State. They began the game 0 of 9 from the floor, missed their first 8 threes. The team defense was bad. There was confusion. They weren't talking. Wide open shooters. Wiggins missed his first 4 shots, ended up playing excellent. More on that later in the show. That's a tease. DeAndre Ayton was ragdolling them. They just did not look good. Then the subs come in, and the game changed. That's the beauty of having options. I mean, Gary Payton, a poke away, great D on a fast break. Payton looked good. Pods comes in, takes a charge. Looney's on the ground. Body's on the floor. Then Buddy Hield, 14 first half points. He knocks down threes. Buddy Hield, welcome to the team. I was not familiar with your game. I was very familiar with your game, but I just did not expect this kind of success. I salute you, Buddy Hield. He looked excellent, led the team in scoring, and then Andrew Wiggins. So much for him being rusty. Not rusty at all. He was very trustworthy today, scoring a whole bunch of points for Golden State, 20 on 8 of 15 shooting, 4 of 7 from the floor. That's a long-ass intro and an easy way to say a 35-point win is a nice way to draw it up, Kolsky. Welcome.
I think you just hit on a future segment, rusty or trusty. But otherwise, yeah, I echo all the sentiments you shared. It's the things that really jumped out to me. Obviously, Buddy Hield. You know, you mentioned the was it 14 in the first half, but on the night, 15 minutes, 22 points, 8 for 12 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. Also had 5 rebounds, just for good measure. Plus 20, not that, plus minus doesn't mean a lot when you win by 35, but that's good, Buddy. I mean, you're not going to get that sort of efficiency every night. If you did, he'd be Steph Curry, but he is a flamethrower, as I believe Trace Jackson Davis said in the preseason. And there'll be days like this, and Steve Kerr will be glad to enjoy them. I also, Andrew Wiggins, look, it was kind of a perfect game for a guy who's not in NBA game shape yet because he played hard for 23 minutes. And that might be about what he has in him right now. But the Andrew Wiggins we saw on the floor tonight, yes, he missed those first 4 shots, but even then,
he was playing hard defensively.
He was playing hard defensively. He was crashing the boards. He looks,
deflection,
in terms of his You know what he looks like, dude? And I don't want to oversimplify it or anything, but he looks like a guy who's doing better emotionally again and able to focus fully on basketball. And when Andrew Wiggins is locked in and focused, we know what he can do. He's not old. He's just been through some stuff the last couple years. And it's really hard to account for how those sorts off the court things that can wreck anybody's life, right? It's so hard to account for how that will in a sport, and then for how long those effects might last. But if tonight is any indication, that's the Wiggins you want. I mean, listen, 8 for 15, 4 for 7 is very good. You're not expecting that efficiency every night, but the level of effort on defense, the attacking of the glass, and honestly, even on what was largely a bad night for Jonathan Kuminga, attacked the rim enough to get to the foul line as much as anyone on this team, attacked the basket enough to, he finished with 4 rebounds in 20 minutes, but he had those in the first 10 or 12 minutes. I think he showed you how, even on a bad night, he can have some positive effects on the game. Same thing with Moody, who did hit some shots late, but wasn't playing well, generally speaking, the first 2.5 quarters of the game. Still manages to affect positively with defense, with effort, they just looked like a team that can win a lot of games tonight. Now, I say all that, and I want to caveat everything with the fact that the Portland Trailblazers are the closest you can get to a preseason game again. So we should not overreact too much to anything. If they beat Utah by 35, I'll be more likely to start jumping up and down.
Yeah, I'm not going to overreact to one game. I didn't think Jonathan Kuminga, quite frankly, looked good at all out there. I mean, you saw some positives. I didn't see much. I mean, that 3 that he took in the first half that, I think it was.
There were 2, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's him and Moody. The thing they most need to learn, and the problem is it's hard to learn this without consistent playing time, but both Moody and Kuminga need to learn the difference between shots you take in the third quarter when you're having a good game and shots you take in the first quarter or the second quarter when you're trying to get into the game. For Kuminga, it's tougher because they're asking more of him. And I think he feels like he needs the score. So when he gets a look from 3, even if it's not in rhythm, he's taking it right now. And some of those look really bad. Moody is in a position where it should be easier for him to turn down shots, But again, I'm trying to look at these guys in terms of how the way they're playing is going to lead to results down the line. If we're judging on tonight's results, put Kuminga at the end of the bench and Moody in garbage time, because he certainly lit it up in garbage time. I just think you have to try to project how the season's going to look, not based on who shot the ball well tonight. And certainly, Kuminga did not.
Yeah, one game. You don't want to overreact. Jonathan Kuminga, though, the only player on the team without a plus in the plus-minus department. He was an even 0. Meanwhile, the team leader, Brandon Podziemski, a plus 34 in the game. That's better than the next closest, who was Gary Payton at plus 26. Podziemski, a goose egg in this one. He was 0 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 4 from 3. Did have 7 rebounds, 4 assists, took a couple of charges in the game. I don't know what it is about him, man. He's never going to be a volume scorer. He's never going to be someone that hunts his own shot. He's never going to be Manu, but he's mini Manu, right? He just does the intangibles, the IQ things that help a team win basketball games. Stat lookers, they look at this in the morning. They see Podziemski as 0. They say, what the hell's he doing on the floor? Give Moody all his minutes. But when you know, you know. And I think his defense, man, his closeouts were pretty good. He's quicker on his feet than I gave him credit for. He's strong. He's kind of smart defensively, intuitive. Like, I mean, I don't want to hype someone up that scored 0 points, but at the same time, it was a very efficient game for 0 points out there, right? It was one of the the better 0-point outings I can remember in recent history for Brandon Pajemski. So we'll take an easy win there. But Golden State, man, it was subs and it was threes. The threes can lead the buckets. It's why they went 10 of 18 after the 0-9 start and scored 41 points in the second quarter after 21 in the first quarter. But the subs, man, subs are out of control. Steve Kerr played 12 guys in the first half. Moses Moody didn't see a second in the first quarter. Kyle Anderson wasn't in that first rotation. It was Gary Payton instead. And again, I thought Gary Payton played a really good game. But after the Warriors went with the big starting lineup and Andrew Wiggins at the shooting guard, Kuminga at the 3, and then Draymond at the 4, Trace Jackson-Davis at the 5. Trace Jackson-Davis played a phenomenal game, 5 of 5 from the floor. He had 14 points and 4 rebounds in the game. But the substitutions, man, were you expecting even this with all the different players they had? I mean, it was 20, it was 20, it was 25, 23, 25, 14, 15, 15, 14, 19, 14, 25. How many damn players played in this game?
14 players, which is I didn't even know you could do that. Honestly, I thought you could have 14, but only 13 could actually play in a game. They've changed the rules on that over the last few years. Anyway, yeah, even if you take out Lindy and Guy Santos, who played, the last 5 of garbage time, it's 12 guys. And it'll be fascinating to see if Steve Kerr can keep this up. I mean, I think you can see the path to it. Legitimately, never mind all 12 of those, or 13 or 14 really, are legitimate rotation guys. But I think you can see where all 12 that he played in the regular time matter in their own weird way. They all bring certain things to the table. And, man, there was not a player tonight, Chuck, or a lineup tonight, other than the first 3 minutes of the game maybe, where I looked at it and said, nah, it's not really, the ball's not moving like you want it to. It doesn't look like the Dubs, right? I mean, it was 12 guys rotating, just kind of coming at the Blazers in waves, all quality players, all playing Warriors basketball, all whipping the ball around the floor. This was kind of the platonic ideal. And again, it's a soft landing. The Blazers are really bad. I mean, it's going to be a really long year for those guys. And you don't want to over-index a 35-point win against maybe the worst team in the league, but it looked great. It had all the right components. It wasn't just, trucking over the worst team in the sport. It was trucking the worst team in the sport in quintessential Warriors style. And all that with Steph Curry having, by his standards, an absolutely terrible game. So, man, Draymond Green only had to play 20 minutes, and it was a typical 20 for Draymond.
Curry would have had a triple-double probably with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter had they just played him. All he needed was one more rebound. He had,
And I thought he played too much in the first half.
Yeah.
He played 17 minutes in the first half, didn't need to, and only 8 in the second because he didn't need to. This was a perfect way to start the season. And I don't want to give them too much credit, but I also don't want to take away too much from doing what you need to do and facing what's on the schedule. And like the ramp into the regular season is really nice because I don't think Utah is going to be great either. And that's another chance to win and do it with your best players getting some rest. Let's go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, when we return on the show, talking about the Warriors hitting 41% from 3, 20 of 48. That's with an 0-9 start. This team can get hot in a hurry. And the man that led the way today with how many deep ones? 5 of them off the bench, Buddy Hield. My apologies to Buddy Hield. I mean, sincerely, I am down to change my opinion whenever. And this guy has proven me wrong in 7 officiated games thus far, 6 in the preseason and 1 tonight. And he has been excellent. Let's talk about Buddy Hield coming up on the show. Let me tell you about one of our sponsors, Gametime. The Gametime app is a must download right now. And if you use code LOCKEDONNBA, you'll get $10. Scratch that. Who needs 10 when you could get $20 off your first purchase? Here's the good thing about Gametime. The closer you get to your event, the cheaper the tickets get. So you can be a procrastinator, and it doesn't matter because you know you're going to see where you are sitting. Yes, they have panoramic views of your seat in the apps. They also have the lowest price guarantee, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime Picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? It is game time. Warriors win by 35 points. The spread was 7.5. No FanDuel read today, but you know what that means, Kolsky. Once again, keep your points, Vegas. Keep about 30 of them. Warriors win by 35. Dude, they keep covering the spread. I mean, if they keep this up, someone out there's hopped on the trend, and they've won every single bet this year, I think. You're muted. You do this every time, Kolsky. You're in mid-season form.
Well, I'm drinking coffee and whatnot. I'm trying to be polite to the people. All right. Wow. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had to do that for effect. I wonder what the spread's going to look like at Utah. I mean, 35-point win in the NBA is always going to cover, right? The Warriors, I think most places I've looked are favored, so to speak, to finish in the play-in tournament, right? So I against teams like Utah, I wonder what that spread's going to look like. And if they continue to look good, how long will it take the books to adjust? Because I do think you're going to have an opportunity to win some money on this team. I really do. That Bob and Kalena talked about this towards the end of the game tonight. It's going to be hard for the Warriors to put in a bench unit in garbage time that's not going to score points. Yeah. Like there's not going to be a lot of 15-point leads that turn into 8-point wins because the last 2 minutes are disgusting. There's just Steve Kerr can't put in bad players. The worst player he can put in is Guy Santos. And Guy Santos is competent. The second worst player he's putting in the game is Lindy Waters, who is also has a flamethrower. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
From William Tell, Charlie Witkowski's talking. It'd be cool if you looked at the camera. I'm trying to produce, direct, get the comments up on the screen and everything. Thank you for joining us on YouTube, by the way.
William,
wherever you
Charlie was looking at me,
podcast.
If he's looking at me, your comment never comes up on the screen, my guy. So, appreciate what you're getting.
Yeah, Draymond Green, a technical today. By the way, you were talking about Fitz and Kalena. Didn't you do a radio show with Fitz back in the day at KNBR?
Sure, yeah. I text with Fitz during the games.
He's texting during the games now.
Well, not live during the games. He waits for commercial breaks like a professional. Come on now.
Hey,
my guy's on the air. No, I love Fitz's.
You're up 35. You get a pass. We posted the stream of this one. Said it was over. Warriors win. They're 1-0 on the season with 6 minutes left in the game. I asked you. I said, "Is it okay? Will we jinx this?" And we post it right now. It was 25. You said that's a little aggressive. 3 minutes ago, you said just do it. It's over. Just do it. You won't be like that Michigan State reporter against Michigan when he went out on the air and said. Michigan wins, and the Spartans actually won on that punt. But anyways, back to basketball.
I would not have authorized you to say keep winning because the preseason does not count, Chuck. But otherwise, I think we were safe.
They're officiated games. At the end of the day, the Warriors have won 7 of them now, whether you like it or not. Buddy Hield, 15 minutes, got up 12 shots in 15 minutes. There's not a shot that Buddy Hield doesn't like. Hit 5 threes, 5 rebounds. he was hustling hard, man. He's finished in transition now. He did it in the preseason, high off the glass, does it again today. I mean, Buddy Hield, what was I thinking? When I slandered Buddy Hield and said, I don't know about the signing. There's a reason why this guy's making, $8 million. I don't know how much he helps you. Based off everything we've seen through 7 games, he looks like he's going to help this team a lot, man. He looks like a very good fit with Terry Stott's motion offense. He gets clean looks. He can get his shot off quick. And he's got a little more to his game than I thought. Now, I'm not dissecting him defensively. I don't know exactly, some of those breakdowns. I guess he wasn't in at the beginning, so those weren't his breakdowns.
No. And honestly, his defensive effort was great tonight. He sprinted back to make a couple of defensive plays. It's a little like Steph with Buddy, I think, which is to say you're happy if he is in the right spots and competing on defense, and he was that tonight. Agent Crypto. The defense was excellent after the first 3 or 4 minutes tonight. I mean, excellent. They were moving. It's everything this commenter's saying. They were switching. They were communicating. They were trusting each other. They were on a string, and it was really like they were spinning around as a unit defensively, and it looked great. Now again, they're defending the Portland Trailblazers, so it'll get harder next game and probably even harder the game after that. But so far, so good.
Portland Trailblazers are one of 2-3 teams in the league that you watch them play and you wonder who their go-to guy is. Like, who the hell is their go-to guy?
Right. I mean, if that's a broader question about the franchise, I don't think they have him yet. If that's a question about like the team they're going to trot out this year, I actually think you do know who it is, and it's Jeremy Grant, and that's not a great situation.
No.
I mean, it might be Scoot Henderson, that's probably what Billups will try to do, and look, Scoot has some moments. He's an interesting athlete, but he's smaller than you think, and he cannot shoot from distance yet. So I don't know. They're in trouble.
A lot of people in the chat saying, chill, Blazers are bottom dwellers. It's one game.
We've said that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're prefacing everything, but hey, a win's a win, man. A win's a win, and the Warriors do have a really good chance to start this season with 3 of them. They got Utah on Friday, Clippers on Sunday, then it's back-to-back against the Pelicans. So why not, man? Get off to a hot start this year. Let's see what happens. It's one game at a time, and so far, every single time we've seen the Warriors run out there, they've won. And for the most part, they've looked good doing it, and they have not needed a barrage of threes from Steph Curry to win games. They've done it in different ways every single contest. And today it was just it was distributing the wealth. They got 40-plus points off the bench, 22 from Hield, 15 from Moody, 10 from Melton, 8 from Payton, 8 from Lindy Waters. They were garbage points, but 8 from Lindy Waters, 17 from Curry, 20 from Wiggins, 14 from Trace Jackson Davis, 8 from Draymond Green, and 10 from Jonathan Kuminga, a bucket from Kyle Anderson, 3 from Guy Santos. I mean, they had a bunch of people stuffing the
And I'll
stat.
say this, that second and even third unit, those guys are going to be a threat against a lot of teams. Now, they may not, I don't know what the bench scoring ended up being tonight, because obviously, like, bad starting lineup means worse bench. So Portland's bench is probably the worst in the league, but you're still going to have a bench advantage a lot of nights. And that just makes everything so much easier on everybody else. And it's been a while since the Warriors had the bench advantage every night. Probably since before Kevin Durant arrived. Because since the moment Durant arrived, the roster was much top heavier. And the more top heavy you are, the harder it is to fill out quality players on the back end of the roster. Now, we can talk about how a huge advantage from your 7th to 12th man isn't the most important thing in the playoffs, but it is a very important thing in the regular season. And, again, we'll see how it goes on Friday and Sunday against slightly better teams. But I think the Warriors have a real opportunity to make a lot of hay with their bench players in the game all regular season long.
Let's talk more about this game. Andrew Wiggins' presence is felt. Buddy Hield just goes ballistic off the bench with 5 3-pointers. And they were all in a quick little stretch. Talking more about the rotation, looking ahead to Utah. It's all coming up on Locked On Warriors. Tell you about PrizePicks now. You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks, and you can do it in over 30 states, including California. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. It's the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million users, so sign up today. PrizePicks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When the picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. You don't need any processing time. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. It also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value to your lineups. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football and basketball season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. The show rolls on. I'll kind of give you a co-host choice on what you want to talk about down the stretch. We mentioned that the Warriors, an efficient 51% from the floor, started off anemic, 0 of 9 from 3, and finished the game 20 of 48. Let's do the math here. That means they went 20 of 39, over 50% after the first quarter, after the first 8 minutes of the first quarter or whatever. Out-rebound Portland, 57 to 42 in the game. They dish out 38 assists compared to Portland's 21. They hold Portland to 39% from the floor, 8 of 34 from deep, which is 23% in the game. Just about everyone stays out of foul trouble. Moses Moody came in and did pick up 3 in a hurry, but aside from that, no one fouls more than 3 times. From the charity stripe, they go, what were they from the charity stripe in this one? 23 of 30, which is 76%. That's probably your biggest weakness of the game today. 17 turnovers. You can expect that number just about all season long for the Warriors. So, co-host choice. What's on your mind today, Kolsky, as I go through some of these comments, and you can respond if anything pops up that you want to discuss.
Yeah, I honestly think the biggest thing for tonight is Andrew Wiggins. You know, I overall, Steph had a bad shooting night, which when you can win when Steph has a bad shooting night, that's always good. Again, easier against the Blazers, but still a win. The people who are, super down on Kuminga or Moody,
it's going to be back and forth all year, man.
One regular season game. And yeah, it's not what I saw someone ask, how long will you keep using youth as an excuse? I mean, it's a combination of youth and opportunity, right? And it depends. It depends how much opportunity they get. It depends how it goes. I mean, I don't think Kuminga has much more of that. I think you saw tonight, even when he's not playing well, he's going to get his share of minutes, right? I mean, he's in the starting lineup. Like, now's the time for Jonathan Kuminga. It doesn't mean you can't have a bad game, but if there's more nights like tonight than there are good nights for Jonathan Kuminga, then yeah, I mean, you start to change how you look at him. Even someone like me, who's been a big Kuminga supporter, I still think we're going to get a good year out of him because I'm not going to flip out over one bad night, but he was definitely not good tonight, So it is what it is. Like I said earlier, I think on a not good night, you saw more of the type of player you'd like to see on a bad night from Kuminga, but that's a small victory in the grand scheme of things, and it's not going to get the job done in the long run. So if the question is, does he have to be a lot better than tonight over the course of the year? The answer is absolutely yes. But I'm not panicking yet. That's where I'm at with Jonathan Kuminga. Same thing with Moody, and I think you saw he did play in garbage time. You know, Moody would have had a pretty rough plus minus as well had he not lit it up in garbage time. So both of those guys need to be better over the course of the season. But again, the Warriors have so much depth, they can win even when they're not. It's pretty good.
Yeah. What's not pretty good, or I guess at this point it doesn't matter. Hindsight's 2020. But the Utah Jazz, who the Warriors are playing on Friday night, lost their game by 2 to Memphis. But Lauri Markkanen, in his first game of the season, first real action since the whole Warriors rumors and everything, he went for 35 and 9 on 4-7 from deep and 9 of 15 from the floor. So Lowry, man, I can play, no doubt about it. And that's what Kuminga, Moody, Pods, and those picks could have potentially turned into. But that's the last. We'll rehash that. We said
that's it's still too much. First of all, he's not going to average 35 and 9. Second of all, even if he does, Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski, and your future first-round picks, it's too much. That would never have happened, and Danny Ainge would have never thought. Like, if that's what you ask for, it tells me you're not seriously thinking about it. Now, separate from whatever happened this summer, the Blazers, as you pointed out, do not have a Lauri Markkanen. There's not a go-to guy. The Blazers have some guys, and certainly a stud in Markkanen right now. So it's a much bigger challenge coming up on Friday. And I think, again, this is a really nice runway into the season, because even that challenge on Friday is not what you'll be facing on the really tough nights in the West. So you passed the first, this was like the pre-test. First day of class, this is like the teacher's checking, did you do your summer reading? The Warriors did their summer reading. Great job, you guys. Now, are you prepared for the actual school year, which begins on Friday?
Yeah, Wiggins read his book twice and the Spark Notes.
Which is important, man. You weren't sure. Was Andrew Wiggins going to show up having read the book? Last year,
he made an impact. We talked about
summer reading.
We talked about making an impact and noticing his impact.
Yeah.
Early, you could tell defensively he was active, had active hands, got into a couple passing lanes. I think had a block shot that maybe led to a run out, and was strong defensively, but was clanking his threes, was clanking his step backs, just could not really hit a shot. I mean, we mentioned missed his first 4 and ended up what in the game? Shooting
8 for 15.
8 for 15.
I super don't care, actually. Here's the thing with Wiggins. To me, the question is, do you know he's on the floor? Like, look, it's great when he's hitting. It's great when everybody's hitting. I don't expect Andrew Wiggins to suddenly become offensively Klay Thompson, right? He's not going to be a knockdown three-point shooter. He's going to have good and bad nights. He's not going to even be a knockdown free throw shooter. But there are nights, especially over the last couple of years, and certainly in his time in Minnesota, where he might have 20 and you forgot he was on the floor because he just wasn't impacting the game physically. He wasn't defending intensely and at a high level. And those are the things that matter to me with Wiggins. This team will score. I think we saw it tonight. They're going to score. There's so many dudes. Like Steve Kerr can just keep going through them until somebody starts hitting jumpers. Yep. But they need their bigger name guys to make an impact, whether they're shooting it or not. And that's why for me, for Wiggins, even early on, I was saying, okay, Andrew Wiggins showed up. He's awake. He's paying attention, and he looks like a guy who's refreshed to be back on the basketball floor after a couple of tough years emotionally. And I'm happy for him.
You love to see it. Scores around the NBA: Pacers 115, Pistons 109, Hawks 120, Nets 116, Magic beat the Heat 116-97. The Bucks beat the Sixers, who did not have both their stars, Embiid or George, 124-109. Cavs 136, Raptors 106, Hornets 110, Rockets 105. Pelicans lose to the Bulls 81-80. Is that correct? Pelicans won? The ESPN sucks.
Well, here's the thing.
ESPN. It says Pelicans won.
I think it's probably the Bulls. I don't know if you know the Bulls saga, but their sports network died, and so they are not on TV in Chicago for the most part, which is infuriating. And also, I assume, therefore, can't get the information to ESPN because every other game is correct except that game.
So what was the final score?
Pelicans won by like double digits in the hundreds, 123, 111 or something like that.
Just ESPN making me sound like a jackass, the worldwide leader. Grizzlies 126, Jazz 124, Suns 116, Clippers 113, and your Golden State Warriors 139, Blazers 104. We will see you tomorrow night for a little pregame show of the Utah Jazz, and then Friday. It's Warriors Jazz is the Dubs. Look to keep on winning. Matt Kolsky, I'm Charlie Walter. Thank you, everyone.
Let's go.
It's free and available wherever you get your audio podcast, so take us on the go there. Peace, guys.